Hi, this is Jazz, and it is Giving Up the Ghost podcast. Thanks for coming back. So this week, I've been very, very busy. Last week was an amazing week. Thank you to all you creepy, cool, beautiful people that came to our Spirits with Spirits, co-hosted by us/me, and the lovely ladies from the Winnipeg Paranormal Group, Kelly and Ashley. We had a special guest. We had Matthew Kumis. Thank you to Matthew for coming out and sharing some of his perspective on the haunts locally here in Winnipeg as well. We then opened up the mic for our Spirits with Spirits Liquid Courage segment, where you come down to the mic and tell your own personal paranormal stories. Thank you so much for everybody who opened their hearts and scared us with their personal tales. It was awesome. It's always awesome. Like, my God, that's a lot of stuff to take in, you know, when people have to deal with this kind of shit. So we're glad to be there for you. We're glad to hear the stories. And if you ever want to share, please certainly email us at givinguptheghostpodcast@gmail.com. In saying that, I also want to thank our sponsor for last week and also for next month. We did get some beautiful glassware from the Dead Horse Cider Company, and to Marcus and his crew, thank you so much for being our sponsor with some swag, some prizes. Hopefully we can get more sponsors on board for lovely prizes for all you beautiful, spooky people. And also thank you again to the King's Head Pub. They're amazing for having us have this little venue. I think we had around 70 people this time, so not bad at all. Next turnaround, it's going to be August 27th. Not sure what the theme or the guest is at this point. Stay tuned for that. And also, we were honored to be Canada's Best Paranormal Podcast by feedspot.com. That's pretty crazy, hey? So we don't take that lightly. Thank you so much. We are hoping to get some more new material out for you. I haven't edited last week's episode yet. However, Jason, who is actually the partner of Aaron from Anya's Oddities, came up to the mic at the end of the segment before we were packing up, and he shared his spooky adventures as being a front desk auditor with the Marlborough Hotel. Now, we've covered the Marlborough before. There is a lot of creepy shit going on there, a lot of history, like hotels and hospitals, man. I tell you, like, you know, just because there's just so many different people coming and going, like, yeah, stuff's gonna happen. So Jason tells some of his personal stories of things that's happened to him and things that he has heard of while he worked there for his time at the Marlborough Hotel. So that's tonight's episode. It's a shorty, but it's a goodie. And also, keep eyes open. We will be appearing at Fort Lorraine for the S'mores and Ghost Stories segment coming up at the end of August. I think it's like Labor Day weekend, Saturday, August 30th. Does that sound right? So I'll be back from holidays and we'll be out there interacting, schmoozing with s'mores and ghost stories and all that good stuff. So anyway, so here's tonight's episode. Thanks again, everybody, for your support. Love you all. We love people that share the ghost love. You know how that goes. And as always, remember to live every day like it is your last, but never give up the ghost. Ciao for now.
Nice to meet you, Jazz.
I'm going to record you while you
Sure.
Whoops, pretty good save. I'm going to record too.
Oh yeah, I don't mess around when it comes to mics. My brother's a musician too, so.
Their mics. It's kind of lovely, huh?
Yeah. I think my brother's band actually recently played up here not too long ago. Men in Kilts.
So you worked front desk?
I used to work front desk at the Malborough back in 2008. So I used to do the audit shift there. So the place is very haunted. Incredibly haunted. The Fashion Mall side more so than the newer side that was built in the 1960s. The old side of the hotel was completed back in 1918. The original hotel was built in 1915. It was completed in 1915. And basically they ended up using it as barracks during the First World War for soldiers. Then they expanded it to add the additional floors to bring it up to 8 floors. But there's a lot of history in that place. So my experiences were with the woman in blue in Churchill's on the main floor. You never heard of the Woman in Blue?
No, not heard.
All
I
right.
heard about the piano player.
Yeah, I heard that music too. So the Woman in Blue is this specter. I don't know how else to put her, but she appears once or twice a month. Yeah, and so she's fairly frequent. She only appears late at night, so usually around 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And if you're working at the front desk and she shows up, the room glows blue. Just for a few seconds, and then you'll see her go from one end of the room through and disappear into one of the walls. And the first time I saw that, I almost ran out of the building. I was told later on by my manager that there are permanent guests in the hotel. That's the exact words he used. We have permanent guests. Yeah. And we're not to talk about the permanent guests to the regular guests because we don't want to freak them out and it's bad for business.
Of course. Well, yeah, in a hotel, in a restaurant, I don't think it's much, but in a hotel, definitely, because you're sleeping, right?
Yeah. So that was my first encounter with anything weird there. Then I also experienced the piano music from Up on 7. That is the direct result of a woman who had been renting. She was a very wealthy woman, and she loved her. She had a grand piano up there up on the 7th floor. She used to rent that. It was in her apartment. It was like a private condo up there, and so she was up there until about 97, when she finally passed away. And there's no more grand piano up there.
Right, but you still hear it.
But you can still hear the music occasionally when you stick your head in the stairwell, and then when you go up there, it gets louder as you go up the stairwell, but then when you actually get up there and open the door, it stops. And there's nothing there. I had encounters with a spirit up on the 2nd floor of the old-fashioned mall. Not a direct encounter, but I was working the night shift, and I got a call from a transit bus driver who had been taking a break in the alley beside the Marlborough, and he said that he saw a little girl staring at him from one of the rooms up on the 2nd floor of the old-fashioned mall side. And I'm thinking that's impossible because that side hasn't been occupied or used in years. The only time that anybody ever stayed up there was when the Gold Eyes were in town, and they would rent that side. Maybe, yeah. And so he called in to us at the front desk, and of course, being concerned, I sent my security officer up there. He got up there, opened the door. He said there was nobody in the room, there's no furniture in the room, there was no phone in the room, there was nothing in the room. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Cool. A few months later, I started getting phone calls from rooms on the Fashion Mall side that weren't occupied. That freaked me out. Every time I'd send my guard up there to go check it out, dead air. Or you'd hear what sounded like, best way I can describe it is static, but pitched static, if that makes any sense. Like it was so it had a pitch to it. And then so again, I'd send my guard up to go investigate, and he'd come down and he'd be like, dude, there's not even a phone in there. So we got things like that. I can remember, and then a few years later, I stopped working the front desk, and I'd worked a couple other jobs, and then I got into security. And one of my security gigs happened to be at the Marlborough. So now I had so now I'm back in the Marlborough, and I have unrestricted access to every single corner of that hotel. There are multiple cold spots throughout the building.
Yeah.
If you go up to the 4th floor, on the new side of the building, the 4th floor had a very violent history in that hotel.
Was it the 5th floor? The girl that got murdered?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they kind of drywalled over that room or something, eh?
Yep. Yeah. So it's there, but it's not there.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of like when they removed the 13th floor. It's like, that's the 14th is the 13th. It's like the same idea, right?
Well, it's just superstition amongst architects, right?
Yeah.
So, we actually had a group of college students who were in town for, I think it was a basketball game.
Okay.
And we had them all up on the 4th floor because that was the floor with rooms with suites. And so they were all staying there. And about 2:30 in the morning, one of the rooms calls us frantic, absolutely frantic.
Yeah.
And they said that there was a man standing at the foot of their bed staring at them.
Oh,
And when they screamed, he disappeared into thin air.
oh my God. And you said they were all kids, right? They're like basketball teams or
These
something?
are like, 17, 18, 19-year-olds. And so they were very freaked out. And they came downstairs. They actually refused to stay in the room any longer. Had a similar incident with a rabbi who was in town performing a wedding up on the 8th floor in the Skyview Ballroom.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's a beautiful ballroom.
it is. But he was staying on the 5th, and he came down at about 2 o'clock in the morning and refused to go back up to his room and said, this place is haunted,
Oh, jeez.
and I don't want any part of it. Get me out of here. Give me a refund.
That's pretty intense for a rabbi. I mean,
Yeah, and apparently he had gone up to his room, and all of a sudden the faucets all came on by themselves. The TV turned itself on by itself. The lights started flickering. And at first he was just like, okay, whatever, bring it on. But then at around 2 o'clock in the morning, things started flying. And his luggage was thrown off of the shelf. His coat was thrown out of the closet. The alarm clock was thrown off of the bookshelf or off the nightstand. And so that shook him up and let him know that, okay, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So he left. We used to get cold spots. I would go and do patrols upstairs in the top floor on what used to be the old carpenter's closet on the top floor that leads out onto the roof.
I think there's one of the floors, I can't remember, used to have the printing presses from the Winnipeg Free Press, and people used to say, like after they moved out and some of the machinery was, I can't remember if they left it behind because they couldn't just...
I was in the basement.
Was it the basement?
It was in the basement next to the...
They could hear still the machinery going, like something was still printing, but nothing's there.
Yeah. Occasionally... Oh, the other one was the press gallery, the Winnipeg Free Press press gallery that used to be in the basement. That was like an old, like an exclusive members-only bar kind of area. It was very, very posh down there.
Right.
Occasionally you'd go down there and there'd be nobody there,
Right.
but you'd hear the sounds of people having a good time. You could hear people yelling and talking and drinking and...
They crowds, they came back, right?
Yeah. So sometimes late at night, if you had to go down there for whatever reason, like when I'd go down as part of my patrols, and occasionally I could hear what sounded like people having a good time, and then as soon as I opened the door, it's quiet. Yeah. The one that scared me the most, though, the one that legitly, I didn't like going there. I didn't like going to that section of the hotel. Was the carpenter's closet up on the top floor. I did not like going up there. Apparently, the carpenter was a mean son of a bitch, and he had, I guess, he had been in an abusive relationship. He was abusing his wife and kids, and his wife left him and took the kids. And he went upstairs and, I guess, being all distraught, got really drunk and hung himself up there.
Oh, shit, really?
And he's still there.
Oh, yeah.
He's never left. And he's angry, and he doesn't like it when anybody goes up there. He has a tendency to make the room very cold. It could be middle of summer when it's like 40 degrees out, and you walk up there and you feel like you're in an ice box.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I went on one of my first ghost tours that I went on late 90s, early 2000s. They had said at the Marlborough that I guess they had done a big renovation in the 80s, like totally squished everything up.
Yep.
And they had brought a psychic in because there was things, because renovations tend to make things go funny, right? Mm-hmm. They don't like changes.
No.
So what they were saying was with the psychic, they brought the psychic in, and she kind of could interpret, like she would embody the spirit or whatever. And she went through the kitchen, and she goes to the kitchen, and she turns, and she, what do you say, when they embody the spirit of somebody, you know.
Oh, possess.
Yeah, like, you know, and then she says, she goes in this Russian accent or thick accent, she goes, my God, where's my soup pot? Where's my soup pot? So apparently, I guess, for 20 years, there was one cook in the kitchen, and all she was responsible was for making the soup, and that was where her pot was. And nobody knew, like, they were like, well, renovations were done, we don't know. So they went back and took, well, yeah, that's where the soup pot was, you know? So really some cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a very violent history in that hotel, though.
Wow.
There were gangsters. There were
a
multiple murders.
Take the bodies out.
Multiple murders over the years.
I the name of the mobster family that they ran it from like the 30s to the 60s, apparently.
Yeah. And that's when at least 3 major murders went down in there. One of them was a young woman up on the 4th. She had been found out to be cheating on her husband, I guess, or having an affair on him, and he gunned her down in the hallway. Another one was a guy who hung himself on the 4th floor, right by the elevators, actually.
So the 4th is just as bad as the 5th?
4th, 5th, 7th are the 3 most haunted most haunted floors in that hotel.
How do people work there, eh? Like, it must be so hard to work there.
You get used to them. They don't, like, after a while, like, they're not really there to hurt you. They're just there, they just want to be known. They just want to be respected. And from what I can tell, they're just, it's like an image stuck in time.
Right, like a loop almost.
Like a loop. Yeah, it's like residual energy that's stuck in time.
Energy, just they don't know where to go.
Yeah. And from what I understand, especially in the case of the murder of the young woman up on 4, that murder, if you've ever seen the movie High Spirits, okay, it plays out just like that.
Okay.
Where it's, you know, every night on the anniversary of her death, you know, she just shows up and she dies, and then she falls to the ground, and then that's it. And it happens on the anniversary of her death every single year. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing, Jason, on the fly like this. This was awesome. I'm glad I got that from you.
I've got one more interesting ghost story from Nova Scotia, if you're interested.
Well, you know what? We'll save that for another time.
Okay.
I still got to eat supper. So.
All right, fair enough.
Jason, it was nice
all right,
meeting you.
likewise.
I think at the fair they had.
I think so. Yeah.
So,
Jazz, right?
Jazz. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you again. I do want to do the fair in October. I just got to figure out my schedule. So.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Oh, wash your step.